So yesterday at, do you happen to have the time?
Yeah, hold on, let me pull it up.
It was 1:46 PM. On the 18th. So it wasn't yesterday, it was Wednesday.
Wednesday, sorry. Is Wednesday yesterday? What's today?
Oh, yeah, I keep thinking it's Friday, wishful
Tuesday.
thinking.
There we are. For some reason, mine are at a different time, but okay. Looking at the minutes, if everyone wants to give them a look and just throw out any comments you might have. No, I was actually thinking of different minutes. Yeah, I'm content with these. Does anybody, before we have a motion and whatnot, does anybody have any comments or questions about this draft of the minutes? Does anybody need a few more minutes to look?
You know, and I'm going to amend these actually, or I'm going to add in, we did receive a document. I just looked back, the draft warrant, so I should probably add that into documents received. That just occurred.
Okay. Then, subject to that change, somebody want to move that we approve the set of minutes for the meeting of, what was the date of the meeting?
April 29th, so moved.
April-
I'll
April
second.
29. Jean moves, Mary seconds. Any further discussion? No. Roll call vote. Jean Estino,
Aye.
Jean Healy-Dibald,
I,
Lee Jenkins.
I abstained. I don't think I was there. Was I?
Ooh,
You were not.
You were not. You were unable to get in that night. So
Right.
we don't have a quorum. Well, no, we need a majority. We have a quorum and we need a majority of our quorum. So we do have that. So Mary, your vote?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So it's, I believe that they're approved 4-0 to 1 abstention. And that is the rule, Chris, isn't it? It's the majority. You have to have a quorum to have a meeting, and then it's a majority of a quorum to pass an ordinary motion.
Sounds okay.
You know, we're approving minutes here, so
Yeah.
if the Secretary of State's office, secret police kick down my door and drag me off to open meeting law prison, you know, that's on me. But I think we're probably okay. So there's nothing that emergent that's come up within the last 48 hours. We have town meeting Monday night. I posted a meeting for 5:30 with a very, very, very generic set of business in case there's anything that we have to try to do to meet. You know, worst case is I shoot you an email at, you know, sometime during that afternoon and say, something's come up, we need to get together and, you know, let's get together, you know, over by the, you know, the coffee machine within, you know, within the music circus or someplace. I don't see it. I've only ever seen that done a very few times, but Chris advised that best practice is to have a meeting noticed just in case. We do not have to notice anything for town meeting proper because there are different rules that apply. So we can confer during town meetings, I understand it. But we, like I said, we have a meeting posted just in case, a live meeting, in fact.
We can vote on town meeting floor too.
Yes, we can. Once town meeting starts, all bets are off, apparently, in terms of the restrictions that govern several meetings. And you know better than I do, having been, you know, the selectman, and I know you guys do that all, you know, with a certain regularity. So where does that leave us? You know, Chris, can you just, for the people who may be addressing town meeting on behalf of the board, Can you just describe briefly what Dan's preference is? I mean, I think it's just to have people walk up as the article is being presented, so they're available to step up to the microphone, make a brief synopsis of the advisory committee's position on the very few articles that we're actually going to go to live comment on, and then step away. That's a fair summary of how it's going to be.
Yeah, well, there'll be a presentation of some, for example, on the budget, I'll do a presentation, concise, and then I'll step back, and then Dan will announce any other speakers that he's aware of. And you'll come up and present, and then again, Dan is a big fan of conciseness and brevity where possible, and there will be an opportunity to do that from the front. I'm working with Rhonda to get. There'll be obviously because of the way of the staging of this, and then there'll be seating down right in front, and then the cars are behind that, and there'll be opportunity for people to sit. So if you want to sit up front, that's great. You can park your car and walk over, or if you're in with others, you can leave your car and walk up front and sit if you want. And there may be another podium right up front that people can speak from as well, rather than coming up on the stage. So play that by ear as it comes. But what happens will be Dan will announce the article, ask for a motion, and then there's a presentation, and then he'll call on any other speakers.
How many seats, Chris?
We're going to put I'm trying to get 100 set up in front, Lee. And then obviously people, we had over 200 last year in cars pretty much. But if you're gonna walk over, or, park over at the senior center and walk over, you still have to check in over in the corner where the clerk's team is set up in the kind of the far corner of the parking lot. And she'll register people there, give you your packet, and then you can go sit up front if you'd like. So the weather's supposed to be, as of today, and again, things can change. It's going to be really hot and steamy on Sunday with the possibility of rain, and then much cooler and with no rain at the moment at all.
Oh, nice.
So it'll be in the 60s, descending into the lower 50s. So, but that'll be overnight. So
No more mosquitoes.
we're going to spray. We're spraying on Monday. So Monday morning. So
Excellent.
got to be careful.
Yes.
Keep people healthy.
Just out of curiosity, last year the chair and I were on the dais up front. Should I expect to do that again? I don't care.
No, I don't think it's as necessary this time, only because we were limiting, interactivity last year.
Right.
Right. So you don't have to be. We don't have that stricture of don't pass and touch and stuff. Right. That said, if you want to, you can. I mean, it's just not. The problem is there's not enough room for every small little stage.
Yeah, I'm fine not being. Last year I was right under Dan Evans' arm the whole night on camera, and I can live without a happy life without ever being on TV again. So,
Well, you'll be on TV at some point. Right? So,
we can minimize that for the good of everyone. So, okay, fingers crossed. That what's the outer limit on time? At what time do we say we have to finish? We're done here, even if.
there is a second night. We could go to Tuesday if necessary. I mean, the venue is all arranged and the materials are arranged if we need them. Actually, when I spoke with the Old Goats earlier today, my annual appearance before them to talk about the warrant, and someone did ask about that. I did say, Tuesday is a rollover. I don't know that Cross has gone to a second night of town meeting in modern times. While I'm sure there'll be conversations about the water and sewer rates, and there'll be conversations, I'm sure, about a couple of other items, including some of the zoning, because people are going to kind of ask about some questions of those. I think we should be okay. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but
I think a lot of the credit for not having multiple town meeting nights is Dan's. He runs a tight but fair meeting, so I have a lot of faith in him, and we'll follow suit. So okay, But I guess my question was, I mean, what's the determinative factor on Monday night? Is
The
it-
determinant
is it-
factor is the
comes to
moderator
talk?
asking the crowd, right? So one of the things here, it's very hard to just leave if you're in the gym, you just disappear out the back door. If you're in the parking lot, you can leave. I mean, it's designed to let people leave if they need to, but it's a little more awkward to pull your car out of a parking space in the middle of the music. So
Yeah,
it's not impossible. It's just a little more awkward. So I don't know. I mean, I think the latest that we've gone somewhere after 10, maybe about 4 hours. Well, actually, we started at 7. So
but outdoors, we can still
no,
go
we do
after
it.
dark.
Yeah, we go. So the sun sets. What is it now? It's 8 something. It's almost coming.
quarter-to-8.
We have decent light until maybe 8:30, and there'll be light towers, and then the screens are all illuminated anyway. So there's and they'll be lighting up on the front. So unfortunately, that makes bugs, but.
I won't make a crack about the portable lighting. I think that we'll just let that pass. But
Chris.
all right. Well, it sounds like it went. I remember our conversations prior to town meeting last year were a lot of people were concerned that it would not go well, and it went very well indeed. So I've no doubt it will again.
We started a little earlier last year. I think we'll be okay.
Okay.
Was your microphones up, 2 microphones, one that Danny has and there's one down?
There's going to be 4 in the parking lot. There'll be 4 stations.
Okay, thank you.
No, there'll be
Thank you.
plenty of places for people to go talk. And they'll be I believe they're going to be under little tents, and there'll be somebody with a flag, like one of the CERT members. So you'll be able to find them. I believe there's 4 microphones in the audience. It's not like town meeting, right? There's 4 microphones in town meeting, various places. And then there's 2 up front. The moderator has his own podium and microphone, and then
Thank you.
presentation. Okay. If you get there early, you camp out right next to one of the spaces for the microphone.
All right. Well, does anybody have any other questions or otherwise? All right. Well, watch your email Friday afternoon. I think the likelihood of asking people to be there for an earlier meeting is something in the range of 0, but just in case. And otherwise, I will see you if perhaps at a remove on Monday night. And then, I think we, a well-deserved break, but we should probably think about, does anybody have any thoughts, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but when it might make sense to convene a further meeting after town meeting? I think one more in the spring anyhow, to prepare for getting started when budgets start to roll up in the fall. I really think I'd like to have a conversation about how to stay in front of the budget, particularly with the school department, which is half of the budget. Just have an oar in, and I'd like, Don was really helpful in helping understand how the budget gets shaped from the get-go. And I think we should be there, or at least looking over the fence. So do you want to try for Mary? Go ahead.
There
Go
were,
ahead.
sorry, there were some conversations about putting or reassembling the budget working group. Is that something, Chris, how does that happen?
Or something like it, right? I think once town meeting's over and people have a chance to breathe a little bit, I think talking about how we want to approach the budget in the fall would be something we'd want to talk about. We could talk about in June, July, and then set up a structure, figure out when to do it and how to meet. And again, I think early would be good. If we start having meetings early in the fall. And what kind of format? They can be. I know that there's something that Diana talked about too. If you folks have thoughts, you can have a meeting and then bring them back to the select board, and they do their goal setting typically in July or June, because everything's a little bit later because of everything. And then some kind of structure would be set up, I would assume, over the summer, and then we'd start doing something in the fall. So,
Especially if town hall passes, there's some real considerations that I think need to be made. And then we also need to look at ourselves as a committee, because we're going to be down at least one and maybe more in terms of members. So that's another consideration.
Yes, yeah, you're absolutely right. I had mentioned recruiting before, and I think we should really, engage more heavily in that. I think our number is 9 all in, right? So we're down 1, and that we're gonna need, we're down 1 empty seat. Helene is leaving, which is 2. Jean may or may not be with us. We wish her luck. But yeah, we could need 3 folks, and we should think about. I'm not a big believer in recruiting for any kind of a board, public or charitable or anything else by just putting up a sign and saying who wants to join. We want to be inclusive. In fact, I think we should seek out people, but I think recruiting is better than just opening the door. Of course, anybody can apply anytime. We're happy to consider them, but in terms of looking for folks, I think we want people who bring things to the table, perspectives or experience or both. I think we've got a good group here. So, Jean, did you?
So, and I'm not directly responding to what you're saying, so I apologize, but one thing that I think would behoove us to keep track of too is the federal money. I mean, there's a lot of movement on the federal money. It's big money, can move in all different directions, including, for example, the American Rescue Act is coming out, and there's specific statutory language that Treasury is implementing to do like water and sewer infrastructure costs. And so I think given that inflow of money too, and Dawn does this already with the CARES Act, but there's some big money coming down the pike, and I think it would be good to have a consistent handle on that as we move forward with the budget, because it might in part go hand in hand,
Just to piggyback on Jean's comments there, one of the big issues we're having is that Norfolk County there's a governmental, as rudimentary as it is, structure. And at the moment, they have not committed to releasing the funds through to the cities and towns. The 137 million being allocated to Norfolk County is almost 4 times their actual annual budget. And remember, their budget is mostly spent on the court system and the registry of deeds and buildings, right? So they have very few actual programs. And they have the Norfolk Ag Tech, the school, and there's a golf course. So, but it's one of the 3 or 4 residuary counties that exist. And I was on a call with Norfolk County managers the other day, and the county administrator, or the acting county administrator, was there, and they were a little vague as to what was going to happen. Now, we made our positions pretty clear, and I think that Braintree and Quincy, who are looking at, we're looking at about $1.7 million. Braintree and Quincy are looking at 5-digit numbers. 9-digit, 8-digit numbers, not just 7-digit numbers. So I'm hoping that they will see the light and have that money pass through somehow. So it's something we're watching as well.
Is that the hand on that on that bag of money? Is that the Norfolk County Commissioners?
Correct. Correct. So it's funny that the newest one, who's actually a selectman in the town of Canton, is the one who's putting up the biggest fight about keeping the money, which I don't understand. I would think his town would probably rebel. And again, it's not disrespect to the county. The fact is that a point that was raised by several of my colleagues is that Middlesex County has all the same services, jails and courts and all that. The state pays for them. So why on earth? So why should the taxpayers of Norfolk, or the residents of Norfolk, have some skimmed off the top because the county still exists, and when the state funds the other things? This is a bigger. By the way, whether or not Norfolk County should exist is a subject beyond my pay grade. Though I mean, this kind of situation though makes one wonder why, right? I mean, we don't interact with them much at all. I mean, apart from the fact we're literally physically apart from them.
And also, just about every other county, as you say, there are only 4 counties that haven't been suppressed, and I think 2 of them are Nantucket and Dukes.
Yeah, that's right. I wasn't even content. It's true. There's actually probably 6 then, because Barnstable as a functional county government is different, right?
Yeah.
As regional issues. And actually, they're spending all of their money on, I think, a big wastewater system. So it's different on the Cape. And you're right. Nantucket is a town county all in one. It's both. And
I
the-
know it well, yeah.
and
It's,
then Duke's is 6 towns on the vineyard, and
mhm.
but the only other 2 that are of any size are Bristol and Plymouth. And I don't know what Bristol does. Plymouth had its own situation with the CARES money when they took it and they distributed it, and the state got all over them for that. Again, it's something to watch. We're watching it very closely, and I know Don has gotten all the guy, following up with the guidance and talking to his colleagues, and I know the select board wants to talk more about where we're going to go with this, because this is a community set. Obviously, we're not sending it, in a room here. We're going to be talking with the community about where it's going to go and how it's going to be allocated. So.
Okay. Well, so I'm afraid I have a thing I have to shift to it at 8. So I suppose we should move to adjourn. I've got to go help it, sit in a Zoom call while a young man becomes an Eagle Scout, which is always great fun.
Congratulations.
Yeah, he's Vince Thornton's boy, Sean. He's a good kid. If you're looking at the front of the high school and you see benches for students to sit on while they wait for buses, that was part of his project. So
Awesome.
yeah, he's a good kid. So, but his father is the scoutmaster now, and he can't be the volunteer in the room for his final review by volunteers from across the region. So I'm stunting back in my former position. So I got to go see if the shirt still fits. So
And you have to be on
with-
time. Like that's a Boy Scout thing, right? You have to be.
it kind of is, yeah. So, and be prepared and all the rest of
Yeah.
it. So, I suppose we should get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Jane, second.
Second.
Jane seconded it. Vote by roll call. Gina Stino,
Aye.
Lee Jenkins,
I,
Mary McGoldrick,
Aye.
Gene Dippold.
Aye.
Rob Hillman is an aye. We are out of here. See you all Monday night. Have a very nice weekend. Chris, thanks for all the assistance.
you.
Don,
Thank you.
too.
Thanks,
And,
Don.
talk
Bye.
soon. Thanks. Bye.
Okay.